Luganda. Otherwise, cheating. That's all I put Baba Kawo. No Bagamba, they look to Sigala. Tonya go ala I don't know Bagamba to Muslim policy. If we met Lamakatemba watch
the supervising ministry, justice and constitutional affairs, the political parties represented in parliament were never consulted by the movers nor the committee. No other stakeholder, including members of parliament, who had sought, albeit in futility, to move private members' bills on reforms touching political parties and elections, were accorded an opportunity to submit before the committee. The House may recall the vehement submission by the esteemed founding former first son of Uganda, the Honorable Jimmy James Michael Akena Obote, MP Lira City East and party president of the two-time party in government. For those who don't remember, 1962 to 1971 and 1981 to 1985, who is also a member and a former chair of the IPOD. In his submission on record of this House, the Honorable Jimmy James Michael Akena labeled the bill diabolical. The minority found it necessary to recast the dictionary meaning of the word diabolical as below. It means characteristics of a devil, or so evil as to be suggestive of a devil. The second dictionary definition is disgracefully bad and unpleasant. The minority invites the House to pay kind attention and consider the concerns of the party president of UPC, and also recall the concerns of the Honorable Asuman Basalirwa, the party president of JEMA, in as far as implementation of Section 14 of the Political Parties and Organizations Act is concerned. There is no doubt in my mind that the leaders of the political parties in IPOD, who are not members of this House, I have listed them: the Honorable Chagulanyi Robert Sentamo of the official opposition party LoP, the Honorable Amuriat Patrick Oboy of FDC, One Uganda, One People, the Honorable Norbert Mao of DP, Truth and Justice, and Mr. Magara George William of the PPP, if given the opportunity, would equally have opposed this bill, which has been moved without their views. The minority also observes that the regulator of the political parties, which is the Electoral Commission, with powers to sanction political parties and organizations, has powers to sanction political parties and organizations. The sanctions available to the Electoral Commission include deregistration, which is an equivalent to a death sentence to a political party and organization. The minority is of the considered view that the Electoral Commission has all the tools, should it be necessary, to deal with any political party which is found culpable. The minority did not receive any single evidence of complaint filed by the movers to the Electoral Commission, and further that the Electoral Commission failed to act on such imaginary violations. This is the finding of the minority. The minority finds that the bill is diabolical. You can recall those definitions, and miserably falls short of meeting the provisions of Article 8A of the Constitution in as far as public participation in enactment of legislation is concerned. It is further found that the speed at which the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 is being rushed is greatly disconnected with the urgency required and expected of Parliament to solve the contemporary challenges facing Ugandans in the areas of decent jobs, improvement in the healthcare services, provision of quality education, delivery of fair and speedy justice, amongst others. I think I missed. Let me rephrase that. It is further found that the speed at which the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 is being rushed is greatly disconnected with the urgency required and expected of Parliament to solve the contemporary challenges facing Ugandans in the areas of creations of decent jobs, improvement of healthcare services, provision of quality education, delivery of fair and speedy justice, amongst others. The other dissenting point is the unreasonableness and the irrationality of the bill. The main justification of the bill is stated by the movers to be to condition and obtain commitment of political parties and organizations to principles of tolerance, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The main justification of the bill is stated by the movers to be to condition or obtain commitment of political parties and organizations to principles of tolerance, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence. The justification is shallow, unreasonable, irrational. At registration, all political parties carefully choose their own principles embedded in their constitutions which guide them, and these are registered with the Electoral Commission. In the absence of the express provisions in the constitution of political parties, the recourse is to the national objectives and direct principles of state policies and Articles 29 and 69 to 76 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Finding, the minority finds that the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 is frivolous, vexatious, unjustified, unreasonable, irrational, and irrationally false shortly acute of the constitutional parameters set out in the national objectives and direct principles of the state policy. Conclusion, the minority having found the following: 1, that the provisions of the bill have the effect of imposing a charge on the consolidated fund contrary to Article 93 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. 2, that the bill interferes with both constitutional and statutory mandates of Parliament, Cabinet, Electoral Commission, National Youth Council, National Women Council, and potential amendments by infection, several acts of Parliament. 3, that the bill contradicts the government policy of rationalization on creation of new expenditure centers, such as the 2 organs proposed in this bill. 4, that the bill is diabolical and miserably falls short of meeting the provisions of Article 8A of the Constitution as far as participation in enactment of legislation. 5, the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill is frivolous, vexatious, unjustified, unreasonable, and irrational. Now, therefore, it is recommended to Parliament as follows: that no question be proposed upon the Political Parties and Organizations Bill. 2, motions seeking leave to introduce private members' bills should be subjected to rigorous scrutiny by way of extensive debates on the justification for the peculiar circumstances to warrant the grant of leave. If I may add, government must first fail reasonably to provide a bill to have a justification for private membership. B, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development be cautioned. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development be cautioned to execute the mandate of the ministry diligently and avoid late-night escapades of issuance of defective certificates of financial implication. Parliament avoids entangling and entertaining motions and bills arising out of petty quarrels and disagreements between individuals and institutions. Lastly, that the Business Committee of Parliament should convene on more regular basis to conduct business as provided in the rules of procedure. Madam Speaker, before I conclude, when a point of law or a point of procedure is raised in this House, it is my humble prayer that you make a ruling substantially. It cannot, a point of law or a preliminary objection cannot be put to vote. That preserve is entirely for the presiding officer. The ruling must be on the record. You cannot say because the points of law are raised. This is provided in our rules. And I request that where I have raised a point of law touching the Constitution, touching our rules, before you give a formal ruling, it is now hereby reported by this person who signed the minority report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Doe. The other minority? In the absence of the minority report, Attorney General, we need a response to the issues that are raised, since government is the one that gave a certificate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I have had the opportunity to read the certificate that was issued by the Ministry of Finance. The plain reading of the same is saying that while there are expenses expected to be used, the money is already in the budget. So what I understood from that there was no imposition. Government had already provided money. This bill is simply reorganizing. It's just simply reorganizing what already exists. So there's a National Consultative Forum for which money has been provided to run the affairs of the National Consultative Forum, and the bill seeks to reorganize the National Consultative Forum. Does it
have an effect on the money that we have always allocated?
No, Right Honorable. That's our understanding. That doesn't have any other charge. Now, on the issue of rationalization, I again, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the National Consultative Forum consists of all the members of all the political parties registered in Uganda. The IPOD that is sought to be introduced, from my understanding, is only relating to a subset of those. All the political parties which are represented in the House are members of the National Consultative Forum. So they are saying we shall have a meeting of the 43 or whatever number you have, but we shall also have another meeting. So I don't think there is anything to do with rationalization here. So I don't know the other issue about the ruling of, I think, Right Honorable Speaker, we may run into a problem if we take the interpretation given by Honorable Odur. We are always discussing matters of law in the House. The principal purpose for which we are here is legislation. And at all points we are discussing matters of law. So if the Speaker, every time we speak here on a point of law, must pass a rule, then I think that's a wrong interpretation. I have not seen that provision in the rules. Right Honorable Speaker, lastly, this is a minority report. There's been a majority report, a minority report, so the members should now be allowed to debate those reports and then make a decision on how to proceed. I beg to
And these reports are basically to form a debate on the next step. So we'll now open the debate on yes.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to draw your attention to this, the wording.
Honorable, just a minute, Honorable Attorney General, the certificate where it says there has a financial implication, maybe you could make a clarification on that.
Right Honorable, the certificate says this bill has a financial implication which has been provided for in the budget of this institution. Okay. So it is not an imposition of a charge. It is saying that from my reading of this, whatever money you're going to use to do this is already there. So it's not an imposition. They are not imposing a charge on the concept. They're actually just spending what has been provided.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, the record